Before time had a name, a man lay all alone high up in the mountains. He was exhausted. Later, much later, people will call him Ötzi, but now his name is Akkum. The long road, the endless path, the toils and troubles of life, all these he's left behind. Now, on the threshold of death, longing only for rest, he dreams his final dream, reliving in his sleep the last year of his life. It all began here, just 1 year ago. Summer is almost over, and in the mountains, the first snow has already fallen. In the primeval forests of the Alps, countless eyes are watching, and 2 of them are focused on a rare appearance in these parts, a human being. To meet a wolf usually means certain death. But it was not this animal that took Akkum's life. His time had not yet come. To live and to die are 2 sides of the same coin in the world of the hunter. To kill an animal is part of everyday life, a vital part. Akkum and his clan live in the village of thatched houses. Here, at the foot of the high mountains, the change of seasons is the mighty force that shapes the landscape of life. It is the men's job to prepare the dry meat that will provide sustenance through the winter. sugar peas and einkorn seeds were laid to rest in the ground in spring. Now it is time to harvest the fruit of the good grass. With flint sickles, they cut off the ears from the stalks. Ukmok the strong separates the grains from the chaff. The chaff will take to the air like the feathers of a bird, but the grain is heavy and will drop like a fish out of water. Deadly nightshade bears poisonous berries, but they're harvested nonetheless, and so are the bright fly agarics. As night falls, spirits rise from the mists. Now is a good time to be in the village, where a little sun lives on in the fire, and the whole clan finds enough food to eat. During the nights when the full moon rises over the village, the magic powers of fly agaric and deadly nightshade are stronger than ever. The men who've gathered in the hut know about the powers of berries and toadstools. Nemher, the shaman, visits the men in the nights of the full moon. For it is only during this time that he can talk to the demons that cause Akum's backache. The toadstools are the mediators between the real world and the spirit world. Akum has the privilege of taking the first sip, and each sip takes him one step closer to the spirits. The old shaman, Nemher, knows that now is the time to treat Akum's backache. He punctures the skin with a fine needle made from bone until a long, narrow wound has formed. Akum feels hardly any pain, still intoxicated by the toadstool. But in order to make the effects of the new acupuncture line last, it has to be turned into a tattoo. Charcoal from animal bones serves as a dye. The ibexes have left the poorer upper regions of the high mountains to search for juicy autumn herbs in the lower parts. The jackdaw's warning calls are a reminder to be cautious. A golden eagle has appeared nearby and is on the lookout for prey. An experienced golden eagle frequently causes even large prey to fall to its death before the bird pounces upon its victim. It's much easier to snatch the chamois away from the eagle than to stalk the animal yourself. This is the law of the wilderness. Along the muddy banks of the mountain torrents, those who've come to drink leave their mark. Foucault shows his discovery to Akum and Moluc. It's obvious that these are the tracks of a bear. The bear must still be around and very close. Every second counts. The flint knife is sharp enough to cut through the bear's skin. The claws are precious, and the fur will be used to make warm clothes. As the first snow begins to fall, the men start their long journey home. The entire world sinks into a sea of snow and into a long winter night. In the morning, all life seems to be buried under the new snow. The clan is still asleep. The cold has crept into the houses overnight, and the fire is long gone. However, flints and shiny golden pyrites are always at hand. But first, a bed of tinder must be ground up. Pyrites and flint make the sparks fly. It's hard work, but eventually the sparks will light a glowing fire. He adds dried stalks and blows steadily until the embers suddenly come to life. Fire. The wind is friend and foe at the same time, frequently making the difference between life and death. Depending on the direction from which it blows, it gives away the scent of man and beast, or it carries it away. The lynx is precious prey. Meat, fresh or dry, is among the most important items on the winter menu for the humans. Most of all, the hunters and the boys need to be provided with food. They have to maintain their strength to provide for the clan. Old people, women and small children eat mostly wild apples and berries, especially at times when bread and meat are becoming scarce. Without storing supplies, it would also be impossible to get sheep through the winter. One of the most precious possessions of Akkum and his clan are the pigs. They're still wild boars rather than domestic animals, and they require special care and attention. Winter is also the right season to make new weapons and tools. While Akkum stirs the fire, a mold has already been prepared for later. But first, air is pumped from a leather bellows into clay pipes. The glowing fire needs to be heated up. The copper nuggets he bartered are as valuable as gold to Akkum. He puts them carefully into the melting pot. In order to smelt copper, he needs a temperature of 1000 degrees Celsius. He has to work hard until he can fan the fire to the point where this kind of heat develops. But sooner or later, it will. Akkum must not make any mistakes now, because every second counts. Like liquid sunshine, the metal flows into the mold and then sets in an instant. The suspense is at a peak. How does the new copper hatchet blade look? Akkum is satisfied. Breaking off the swarf is just a routine job now. Hebor works on flint flakes. His most important tool is a round wooden stick with a piece of stag's antler attached. With great skill, he slowly shapes the flint flake into an arrowhead. The rapid flow of water keeps parts of the torrent free of ice, even during the hardest frost. While the men keep testing the ice to see if it will bear their weight, the sea eagle has already been successful. Animals that catch fish are amazingly successful. Human methods appear clumsy by comparison. Summoning all their strength, Akum and Moloch manage to pull their hunting companion ashore. But eventually, the day dawns that brings the long-awaited change. It begins to thaw. And even beyond the timberline in the high mountains, temperatures are clearly on the rise. Avalanches are a common occurrence during springtime and will take the life of many an ibex. It takes years of experience and keen eyesight to track down the victims of an avalanche. In the village, spring means tough, physical work. The damp soil is torn open with a wooden plough before the dead seeds of the good grass are planted. Soon, they'll be reborn to a new life. Akkum is chasing a bird of a very special kind. Mating capercaillie are so preoccupied that they can easily be stalked. The warming power of the sun also wakes the red ants from their winter sleep. Their activity is much appreciated. The tiny insects are known for the burning acid they secrete as a defense. For precisely this reason, Akkum rubs the little animals into his beard. The formic acid drives out parasites like fleas and lice. While spring unfolds slowly in the mountains, the early signs of summer are already visible in the lowlands. The first wild cherries are ripening. The einkorn that was sown is now in full bloom in the small fields in the middle of the village. One of the oldest weeds is the poisonous corn cockle. It can spoil any crop. The peas and linseed are not ripe yet. Mamoa, mother of four, is working on a lump of clay with her skillful hands. Step by step, a bowl takes shape. Although it's an article for daily use, decoration is considered important. Springtime in the village means not only an increase in work, but also an increase in population. More children are born at this time than during any other season. But not only here, everywhere in the mountains, new life has appeared. The thaw has now reached even the highest slopes, releasing an abundance of water. The men from the village of thatched houses make good use of the time when the water is clear. They go fishing. It's easier than in winter. The odds are now in their favour, as neither ice nor thick clothes will hamper their hunt. But it's still not an easy task to spear a quick little trout with a harpoon made of bone. Akkum even dives into the icy waters for a very special delicacy, a crayfish. With such a good catch, the fishermen are satisfied and decide to return home. Everyday life in the village is quiet and peaceful. But peace and harmony can be an illusion. Long before the clan members are aware of it, danger closes in. The light and smoke from the fire usually keep wild animals at bay. But the scent of fresh blood is irresistible for them. Once again, everybody has escaped, frightened but otherwise unharmed. But a new danger is already written in the sky. Dark clouds above the mountains are not a good sign. More and more clouds accumulate, forming an enormous front of thunder and lightning that finally reaches the village of thatched houses. The inconceivable has happened. Libor has been struck by lightning and killed. In spite of the tension that fills the air, Moloch and Akum both immediately lay claim to Libor's hunting ground. Moloch's victory is complete, and Akum has to bear the consequences. All he can do is pack up and leave. And so Akum, with his few possessions, bids farewell to the village of thatched houses, never to return. The path leads him uphill. He's weak from the fight and can barely stand. He lies down, exhausted. Akum spends several nights under a ledge. He started working feverishly on a new bow. He had to leave his old one behind in the village. But he has barely anything left to eat, only a couple of sloe berries. He has to get over the alpine passes if he wants to find other human communities that could offer him refuge. Although it's almost summer, the temperature has suddenly dropped below freezing. It could even snow. At 3,000 meters, all life seems to be frozen. Akum enters this hostile environment, hungry, thirsty, and in pain. There's no fire to warm him anymore. He's lost and lonely. man at the end of his strength, at the end of life's road. And yet he carries on as long as he can. His tracks disappear in the mountain mist. Long, long ago, before time had a name, Akum's last dream came to an end. He fell asleep, dreamless, forever.